Welcome back. We're back with another face-to-face video. I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable filming myself instead of just hiding behind the camera because, I don't know, I think that it's also important to talk face-to-face, but today we're back with a face-to-face video because I'm going to be trying on some of my makeup. I wanted to play around with makeup and I thought I would film it because I haven't filmed a video in a while. The last few videos that you saw were pre-recorded before I gave birth, so I've run out of videos that were pre-recorded and I thought it would be fun to, I don't know, film something now that I have a little time to myself. Also, before we move forward, I wanted to thank you guys for the messages that you've been leaving congratulating me on my baby. Thank you so much. Things are going relatively well. She is really good. She sleeps, she eats, she cries when she's hungry, and she cries when she's, you know, a little bit uncomfortable. She only wakes up a couple times at night to feed, which is giving us a great chance to sleep. And I'm very grateful for that. As you can see, I have my little next to me right here on my side of the bed. She just kind of sleeps there, wakes up a couple times, gets a little feed in, and goes back to sleep, which I am insanely grateful for because I've been able to recover. Recovery is going great. Baby is doing amazing. She's wonderful and we are so in love. And yeah, thank you to everyone who left a kind message congratulating me. I was really happy about that. And I'm just enjoying maternity leave and enjoying my perfect little baby, which I guess everyone thinks their baby is the most perfect, beautiful creature ever. And I am no different. My baby is perfect in my eyes, so I'm very happy. Anyway, let's start swatching these lipsticks. I decluttered some of my makeup not long ago and I was left with these lip products right here. I wanted to do a little try on because I like to do this every now and then and see what things look like on me. And I thought it would be fun to film it and share it because I do get comments from people sometimes saying that they have a similar skin tone or skin color or hair color to me, and this might be helpful for you guys. Lip products tend to be very personal in the sense that even if you're a similar color to someone, they can look drastically different because of undertones, hair color, eye color, the clothes you're wearing. So of course take this with a grain of salt because I've been a victim of buying something thinking after seeing someone's video and thinking that it would look the same on me and it looked completely different. So this is how these products look on me, on my skin tone at the moment, with my hair and my clothes that I'm wearing. I try to wear a very neutral top so nothing's clashing. But yeah, just take this with a grain of salt because things can always look different. I encourage you to try things out anytime you can. I know it's not always possible, but if you can, try them out. But anyway, I thought it would be fun and just do a little cozy little video of me trying on some of my lip products and just seeing how they look. In terms of coloring, I am fair-skinned, as you can see. I'm not the fairest of skins. I'm usually either the lightest or the second lightest shade in a range, except in the really good ranges where I'm usually the third or fourth because that means they're catering to people who are even more fair than me. So I'm not the fairest of them all, but I definitely am fair-skinned. I have dark hair and I have light eyes. So my undertones are more neutral, leaning on cool. Every color analysis I've done has told me that I'm a bright winter. I don't know how much I believe that because I think that I can kind of fall in between different color analysis palettes. A bright winter is the one that has come up the most, so take that as a reference if you want. But when it comes to lips, I find that the base color of your lips is really important to how a lipstick looks when it's on. So my lips are more pinky, even sometimes a little purpley. Let me just show you up close. But yeah, this is my lips with nothing on. I have nothing on, no lip balm, nothing. And my lips tend to be like a little bit more pinky, leaning on purple, I believe. So that drastically affects the way lipsticks look on me. Everything tends to pull a lot pinker on me. I think because my lips are quite pink in base. So things tend to pull, anything that's kind of in between tends to pull a little bit more pink on me. But of course that changes with the undertone of the lipstick itself and a lot of other factors. So yeah, this is just what we're working with. So without further ado, we're going to swatch these on my hand, but I'm also going to be trying them on and leaving all of the information that I can leave around here somewhere or in the description. And if you have any questions, just drop a comment and I'll try my best to help you. Anyway, let's jump into the lipsticks and start swatching stuff. So the first ones I'm going to get out of the way are the ones that are in my project pan. I'm not going to stop on those for too long because you've seen them before. I have my NIVEA Blackberry Shine, which I don't have right here at the moment. It's in my car, which I'm hoping hasn't melted. Here's some footage of me wearing it just to get it out of the way. It's in my project pan. I talk about it all the time. So I'm going to move on to the next one that's also in my project pan, and I'm going to try and brush through that quickly as well. So this is the KIKO Smart Fusion lipstick in the shade 405. I think these are the most affordable lipsticks that KIKO does. They're like the very simple black packaging, plastic, and they have a pretty good variety of color. And this is the one that I have. So, oh, I feel very YouTuber doing this. This is a sort of dusty rose. It has nothing to do with the color that's underneath on the stickers. Just keep that in mind. The stickers are very misleading because this looks like a bright pink. And it's, as you can see, it's a very muted pink. This is like a dusty rose kind of shade, which you might notice that I quite enjoy. I have a lot of blushes that are this shade, and I also enjoy it in lipstick form. I think it's a color that's really flattering on me. It's not too aggressive, and it just kind of ties the complexion together, especially when you have very fair skin. This is like a nice pop of color. So I'm going to swatch it on my arm first. I think Dusty Rose is the best way to describe it. The reason it's called Smart Fusion is because it's kind of a hybrid between a lipstick and a lip balm. So the color payoff is quite subtle and you can build it up from there, but you never get a really rich, bold color from these. These are very easy to use on the go. You practically don't need a mirror because you can just slap this on and it looks good. On me, it's more of like a tinted lip balm. That's the feeling that I get when I wear it. And it's very easy to wear. It goes with everything, and it's in my project pan because I bought it spontaneously. One day that I didn't need another lipstick, I just bought it. So I put it in my project pan to make sure that I would use it. And I've actually been enjoying it quite a lot. So this is what it looks like. I know it looks like nothing, but it does add like something extra, like makes me look a little bit more alive, I feel. And I like that I can just kind of put it in my bag, put it on wherever, and I don't have to worry about lip liner or like making sure that it's perfectly put on. It just kind of goes on really easily. I am curious to try other shades from this range, but I don't think that I want to buy more lipsticks at the moment because I have quite a few. But maybe in the future I'll try some of the other colors. But for now, this one is absolutely beautiful. I wonder how my lips are going to look like by the end of this. I'm probably going to be very, very swollen and irritated. So I'm going to try and be gentle when removing all of these. Following along with the more like subtle colors or the buildable colors maybe, I have the Gucci lipstick in Candace Rose. I don't know what the exact name of this kind of finish is. I'll try and find it and put it here somewhere. But it's the one with the floral packaging, which is just beautiful. And this is a shade Candace Rose, and it is, just like the name suggests, is a rose shade. Again, you're going to notice that this is a kind of a favorite for me, but this is beautiful. And it's also similar to the KIKO one. It's more like a shiny lipstick, a little bit like a lip balm. I think this one has a bit more of a color payoff than the KIKO one, but the feeling is similar in which it doesn't feel like a lipstick. It feels more like a lip balm, like a tinted lip balm. So I'm going to swatch it. And as you can see, I had to swipe it a few times as well to get a good color payoff. Which also means that it's very easy to work with, and you can also kind of apply it without a mirror. As you can see here, the color is a little bit more pink than the KIKO one that we used, so this one is definitely more of a brighter option. But once again, it's very buildable, so you can kind of play around with it and get a different opacity depending on how heavy you want to look. And this is what I mean when I say that things tend to pull quite pink on me. I see this and I do feel like it's quite pink. I know the camera's probably saturating it a little bit more. You have to keep that in mind. But I do see this as a very pink option. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it looks very nice against my skin. But this is definitely one of those where I saw swatches of it online and it didn't look as pink on other people. And on me, I feel it's like very, very pink. I'm not mad about it. I do like it, but it's just something to keep in mind. I will say the formula of these lipsticks is incredible. It's so smooth. It feels like a lip balm. It has a gorgeous smell to it. It's so pretty. So could these be dupes for each other? I wouldn't go as far as saying that they're dupes, but there's definitely a big price point difference between the KIKO one and the Gucci one. I'm talking formula here, by the way, not color, because as you can see, the color is very, very different. But in terms of formula of like a hybrid lipstick lip balm, obviously this KIKO one is like €5 and the Gucci one is, I don't know if it's like 40 or something. So I wouldn't consider them dupes exactly, but if you're looking for a similar finish, if they have a similar color to this, the KIKO one would be a good option to try and replicate a more subtle lipstick instead of a heavy duty one. I can already see my lips are swelling up. We're gonna go with the classic now, which is Black Honey, carrying on the lip balm kind of trend. This is the classic Black Honey. I've had it for a long time and I really, really love this. I'm not gonna stop and talk too much about it because I think that everyone knows what Black Honey looks like and at this point has probably tried it. But on me, it looks like a dark kind of, almost kind of like a grape color. It's dark without being too dark and it's perfect for kind of an everyday look. It also goes on really, really easily and it has quite a lot of shine to it. My biggest complaint with this is that it doesn't last on my lips very long. And I know this is something other people complain about as well, but it really doesn't last very long. I'll put this on, it looks lovely, I love the way it looks, but between half an hour and an hour, it's gone and I have to reapply it. So that means that this goes down very, very quickly. And at the price point it has, it definitely could last a little bit longer. But it's a classic for a reason. It just looks really nice and natural on so many different skin tones, but definitely not a long-lasting one if you're looking for that. We're gonna move on to Revlon now. I have 3 lipsticks from Revlon. Since we've been covering more like lip balmy kind of lipsticks, I'm gonna start with the infamous Rum Raisin Shine version. This is not the regular Rum Raisin. That one I have right here. So we're gonna compare both of them. But this is the Shine version, which I absolutely love. This is what it looks like. It is similar to the classic Rum Raisin where it's a reddish brown, but this one is less pigmented and has a shiny finish. And if you are very pale like me, Rum Raisin might be a tad too dark, which it is, and I'll show you in a minute. But this is perfect, especially for autumn and winter, but I will wear this in the summer, I don't care. But this looks so, so good against fair skin. If the shine is too much for you, you can always blot it a little bit and it kind of tones it down, but I actually quite enjoy the shiny finish. This one is definitely more pigmented than the others I've shown you. Here's the swatch on my arm. And as you can see, the color payoff is a little bit higher than the other lipsticks. And I can definitely tell on my lips that it looks a little bit deeper. It also feels a lot more creamy, more like a lipstick than a lip balm. But since it has a shiny effect and it's not opaque, I do think that it falls almost into the lip balm category, but it definitely feels more like a lipstick than the other ones that I've shown you. This is one of my absolute favorite lipsticks. I wear it so much in autumn and winter. It just goes with everything. And this is also a much more wearable Rum Raisin than the classic Rum Raisin, which we're gonna review next. And you'll see what I mean, because if you have fair skin, the regular Rum Raisin can be a tad too dark. I think there was a time where they weren't available in certain countries, but I think they're bringing them back. I don't know. In Spain, they've been available for years and they still are. So now we're going to go in with the regular Rum Raisin. This is the cream version. This is like one of the most classic Revlon lipsticks ever. And I absolutely love this one, but I have to wear it a certain way for it to work. This is a clear example of how different lipstick looks like depending on your skin tone, your undertone, your lip color, even the outfit you're wearing. I have seen so many swatches of this on different people and it looks different on every single one. Some people can pull this off as like a nude everyday kind of lipsticks. And on me, this is the darkest lipstick I own and the darkest that I ever plan to own because I don't think I suit that dark of a lip. Either way, this is a classic for a reason because it's a gorgeous like brownie red. And this is it compared to its shiny version. This is one swipe, just one swipe. I'm not even going to do a second one because that is already really opaque and dark. I have to be really careful putting this on because it can very easily go everywhere on me. Usually with this lipstick, I blot the excess because it definitely is quite heavy on me. And the formula is very, very creamy, so you're going to get a very good color payoff. As you can see, it's quite a deep color. So this is not how it looks like on a million of the swatches I've seen online. It just has such a different effect on every single person. This lipstick alone proves color theory is so important when you're choosing a lipstick, because this to me is way too dark. And while I do like the way it looks, I think it's flattering against my skin and it's a good, like, it gives me a good 90s lip. It's not something that I like to wear on an everyday basis. So usually I'll wear this when I'm going for an actual bold lip, or I will wear it just dabbed on. That is also a really nice way to wear this if it's a little bit too dark on you. The way I usually wear it is I'll dab it on and spread it out with my finger, and that looks so much more natural on a skin tone like mine. Still, when it's laid on thick, when it's laid on at its fullest like this, I still think it looks beautiful. It's just not an everyday kind of look for me. But this is the idea you can get of how it looks on fair skin with neutral to cool undertones. This is what you can expect, or something similar to this is what you can expect. Whereas if you see swatches online on people with different skin tones, this color is just going to turn into completely different colors depending on who's wearing it. And now moving on to my other Revlon one that I have, it's Daylight Delight. It's also one of the cream versions. So again, that creamy, very lipstick, classic lipstick formula. But this color is a little bit more similar to the KIKO one in that it looks like a bit of that kind of mauve-y, dusty rose. I don't really know how to explain it because this one is a little bit more warm toned, but I still think that it gives that effect of having rose with a little bit of brown in there, but still light enough and pink enough that someone like me can wear it without it looking too brown. As you can see, this, which is Daylight Delight, and this is the KIKO 405. I think they're quite similar. And I like this one for kind of everyday use. I think in my case, this looks like a My Lips But Better kind of situation where it saturates my color and adds a little bit of life without being too overpowering or being too much of a pink or a brown. It just kind of sits in between, and I really like that. This formula, like all of the Revlon cream lipsticks, is very, very comfortable. It's easy to put on, it just stays on for quite a long time, and it fades away quite nicely on me. And this is just a very safe color for me that goes with practically everything. So definitely a good everyday lipstick if you're fair-skinned, especially if you're neutral, because this sits right in between the cool and the warm. So I think it doesn't lean on any particular side too much. It just kind of sits in between. And if you're neutral like me, it kind of ties everything together. Another one I picked up because I saw swatches online and I thought that it could look good on me and it could work for me is the L'Oreal Color Riche in 635 Worth It Medium. This is, again, one of the Color Riche lipsticks, the classic formula. I love L'Oreal lipsticks. The smell of them it's just so nostalgic. And this is the medium version of their Worth It one. So they have the Worth It, regular Worth It medium, which is this one, and then they have a Worth It deep or something like, or intense or something like that. I can't remember the name. But this one, Worth It, the regular Worth It is a little bit too pale pink for me. And I thought that this one would be perfect. And they didn't have it in Spain for the longest time, but they recently brought it over and I picked it up and it looks really, really nice. I'm very happy that I picked it up because look at this. On the swatch, you might see it's kind of similar to Rum Raisin even, or sitting in between the two Rum Raisin versions, I think, but in a very creamy lipstick. But this doesn't go on as dark and intense as Rum Raisin does. So it sits at a very good, comfortable, dark, but not too dark in shade for me. I do, however, recommend to go with a light hand and then build up because these can be quite intense in pigment. So just go in easy and then build up if you want from there. I think the medium in the shade name is appropriate here because on me, it's kind of like a medium color. It's not too dark, it's not too light. It kind of sits in between and I really like the way it looks. I think it adds something special. It deepens up my makeup a little bit without being as intense and as deep as the Rum Raisin one. So this one's a little bit more wearable in my opinion, at least with my undertones. For me, L'Oreal lipsticks are a sign of quality. They've been around forever. This is the smell of the lipsticks that I remember in my childhood, my mother wearing. So they've been around forever and the shade range is just always expanding. And I think that the formula is just perfect. To me, on me, these last quite a very long time. They're not drying, they're not, they don't peel off. I think the fact that these are just lipsticks, the same with the Revlon, I think they're not pretentious. They're not trying to sell you kind of any other effect. It doesn't have like a super over-promising lasting power. They're not trying to sell you like a gimmick kind of thing. They're just lipsticks, creamy lipsticks, that's it. I've had really bad experiences buying stuff that after seeing swatches online in regards of lip products. So I'm very happy that this one actually works on my skin tone and I'm really enjoying wearing this. I've worn it in the summer as well, even though it's a little bit too dark for kind of a summer color. But this in the autumn and winter I think is going to be beautiful. I wore it a lot in spring as well, but I think that in winter it's just going to add a little bit of depth without being like a bold dark lip. Okay, now we're venturing into my two reds. So I'm going to start with the MAC one here. Actually, no, I'm going to start with L'Oreal. We just spoke about the other L'Oreal. So this is the old Color Riche matte formula. I don't think they make these anymore. I found some online, but they don't make them, like, they're not broadly available anymore. I think the equivalent now are the skinny ones they have that are matte as well. So I'm guessing that that's the equivalent right now. The shade names and the numbers are all different, so I don't know what would be the closest thing to this one. But this is shade 347 Haute Rouge, and this is a matte creamy lipstick in a cool toned red. So this is very cool toned, very blue toned, and this is it's actually a good dupe for MAC's Ruby Woo, except this formula is a million times nicer. This is like almost pinky kind of red because it's very blue tone. And to me, this is a million times better than Ruby Woo because Ruby Woo is very drying. I haven't tried the reformulated version, but the old classic Ruby Woo was just so hard to work with. It was very dry. I remember it didn't last on my lips at all. It started getting crusty. It got very dry very quickly. Whereas this one just glides on like butter and then it lasts so well on the lips. It's still creamy after a few hours. It's really easy to reapply because it doesn't get crusty. It kind of just fades around. So you can kind of spread it with your finger when it starts to fade and it looks much more natural. And you can reapply it over the top and it won't like layer up and do strange things. It's just such a good formula. It's amazing. And I would take this a million times over Ruby Woo. It doesn't feel like a matte lipstick. It's a matte effect. It's just the formula is so creamy and so easy to work with that it doesn't feel like matte lipstick. I'm tempted to buy a couple more of these just to have a backstock, which I won't do because I don't believe in doing that, but I'm tempted to do it because this is the perfect red. The perfect red. I've worn this on Christmas, I've worn this on nights out. It's so easy to maintain as well. It just, like I said, it doesn't go crusty. You can reapply it really easily. So this is my perfect red. I will never use another red that is not this, except for the other one I'm going to show you in a minute. But they have different finishes, so bear with me. But yeah, this is my absolute perfect red. I don't care about those super long lasting, like liquid ones. Those all go crusty on me and like really dry. This does not. This goes on perfect. So I will forever use this until it's gone. And I'm tempted to buy a backup just because these are discontinued. And I don't think I'm going to find them for a lot longer. But yeah, if you get the chance to try this, do it. And if you've tried the new ones, the new versions, let me know if the experience is similar because I don't want to go out and buy another red because I already have this one. But I'm curious to see if they've kept the formula. I really hope that they have. I will say that it slightly stains the lips. I've also tried on 8 different lipsticks and used a little wipe to take them off so my lips are just swollen, but let's go with the last one. So my last red is one that I had before I found my perfect red, which is the MAC Powder Kiss in Werk. And this one is also a matte lipstick, but it's one of the Powder Kiss formulas. So they're very thin in formula and very light to work with. But this is also a cool toned red. But as you can see, the formula is a lot thinner than the L'Oreal one. God, my lips are so limp, they look horrible. Anyway, let's see how this looks on. Now, I also like this red because it's a little less saturated than the L'Oreal one. So sometimes I don't want to have like the biggest bold red lip. Like you saw, the L'Oreal one looks a lot more bold and in your face, and this one, this is a bit more subtle because it's the Powder Kiss formula. So the Powder Kiss formula is slightly less saturated and it feels a little bit softer, like a lip balm without being a lip balm. It's not shiny, it's powdery like the name suggests, but the color is buildable, so I could go a little bit more saturated than this. But I really like the effect that this one gives, being a red lip without being super in your face. It's also very easy to maintain. This one is a lot easier to maintain than the L'Oreal one. While the L'Oreal one doesn't require a lot of upkeep in terms of reapplication, it is something that you have to be careful with because it will smudge easily. Obviously, it's not a permanent lipstick. This one smudges a lot less because the formula is a lot thinner, and also this one fades away quite nicely. Once it starts fading away, it leaves kind of like a stain, which is really pretty, and it's not, I don't think it's intentional, it just kind of fades away that way very evenly, so it leaves kind of a stain. So if you don't have a chance to reapply it in a few hours, it's not going to look blotchy, it's not going to like smear all over the place, it's just going to fade slowly into a kind of a red stain, which in my opinion looks very pretty. I've never been a big fan of MAC lipsticks in general, especially for the price they have, but this one I do like, and I think that this formula is my favorite out of all the ones they have, so definitely recommend giving these a try if you can still get your hands on any of them, which again, I don't know if they're still available. And that is everything. Those are all of my lip products that I currently have in my collection swatched for you. I hope this is helpful if anyone has a similar skin tone to mine and is curious on how any of these look. Yeah, I think that I've found a good balance of different shades that work for me. I'm happy with what I have right now curated in my collection. I don't have anything that I don't think flatters me. I think that everything I have is flattering in one way or another, or meets a certain standard that I might have at one point. Regardless of the season of the year, I can make these work at any point. And I think that's the important part, especially considering that I do have quite a few lip products, but all of them have their own different effect, and I do use most of them on rotation throughout the year. So I know that I'm not over hoarding lip products that I'm never going to use. All of these I will happily use at any point in the year. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful and or entertaining. If you just wanted to have me on in the background, I will happily be your background video while you do something else. Let me know if you like these kind of videos, because I'm thinking of doing something similar with my blush collection. So let me know down below if that's something that you might be interested in, because I think that I also have a good curated collection of blushes, so that might be interesting to show you if, again, you're looking for something within the same color range that I use, or if you have a similar skin tone to mine, it might be helpful. Let me know. I'm gonna go now and feed my baby and have a big glass of water because it's very warm in my room right now and I'm starting to really sweat. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.